Ruby Walsh joins us in the Racing UK studio, going to take us around the Sandown track this time and tell us what is the ultimate way to ride it. I'm sure that you're not going to give away all your secrets, but if you could reveal as many of them as possible. What do you make of Sandown as a track to ride?
I think it's the best 2-mile chase track to ride. Tingle Creek is a great race to ride in. Obviously, you want a good jumper, but I love the chase track on it. Be the 2-mile start and the 3.5-mile start. They're both in the same place. It's a really good start. Plain feint stitch up the hill to the winning post. It's a great thrill in a top 2-mile chase to ride around there. It's an unbelievable test of jumping and stamina. And then when all is said and done, there's a good stiff finish to it. Yeah, I think as a chase track, it's great.
We'll have a look at Corto's Tingle Creek in a moment. Mick Fitzgerald was on him that day. But as a general rule, what sort of horse is needed to excel at Sandown?
Over longer distances, you definitely need a horse that stays. During the winter, it does get quite testing there, so soft ground. It's nearly always soft ground there. You want a horse that wants testing ground. But I think, like, it's made, to me, it's big races at Tingle Creek, and you do need an attacking horse around there. A horse that really goes at its fences and takes them on, because there's just so many of them and they come at you so fast that is a huge advantage in the back straight in Sandown. If you're riding a good, brave horse who wants to take on these fences, it makes the back straight short almost if you're on a good jumper.
A lot of people go on about the railway fences, but actually there's more to the track than that, obviously. But there's a real importance placed on getting your horse into a rhythm pretty much throughout at Sandown.
Yeah, well, Tingle Creek, they jump off and they fly up the straight, plain fence ditch, up the hill past the winning post. They level off before they run downhill to this fence, the downhill fence past the stands. It can be tricky enough. You'll see Sporrazine at the back here. He gets in too close and tips over. Catch the top of it. It's downhill, it's running away from you. He doesn't get his landing gear out and turns over. That's the only lull in the race. When you turn this bend here and you face into the back straight, you'll see it here now. There's just fences everywhere. I mean, there's the first line of them. People go on about the railways at the bottom at the end of the back straight, but these three fences here are equally as important before you get to the water jump.
You've got 1, 2, 3.
3 is the ditch, 4 is the water.
4, and then that extends as well.
It runs at a different angle. The hurdle track crosses in front of the water jump, and the chase track crosses back to the inside there. So you're coming at it 2 different ways. The hurdle track's coming that way, the chase track's coming the other way. But you have to jump. These 3 fences are equally as important as the railways.
And all the while, you keep going on about a finish at Sandown. You don't keep going on about it. Keep going on. But the point is that there is a stiff finish at Sandown. So all the while, whilst thinking about getting your horse into a rhythm to jump, or hoping your horse is in a rhythm to jump, you're still got to try and conserve energy for that finish. And where on the track do you conserve the energy?
See, that's it. You can't. You run down the hill past the stands. That's the only breather you get. That's why jumping is so important. You have to literally attack and jump all of these fences to hold your position, so you're never under pressure to regain a position. You see Fitzy here's winding up Cauto Star for a big jump there. He's well aware of that. He knows that if you're jumping these first 3, it's putting you where you want to be. You get in charge.
Yeah, you might be able to. I mean, everyone knows the colours of Cauto Star, but that jump there, he got a jump out of Cauto Star that got him into a position. The others made slight mistakes, and Fitzy's in a better position than the others were.
He's back on the bridle now between Ashley Brook and Locksmith. He's where you want to be. Dickie is starting to push Munker Hostin in the yellow just by his body position there. He's already feeling the pinch. The pace of this race is really, really quick. And when you're jumping well, Fitzy's looking for another one here, and Cauto comes again. But now all of a sudden, look, Timmy's starting to niggle. Fitzy's well on the bridle. Chalk's not bothering to follow him. But an AP's pressing the gas on Ashley Brook.
And then we move forward now to the railway fences, and that sort of mentality needs to exist. You're always having to think about the same things at Sandown.
Well, if you really jump the first 3 in the back, the water gives you a bit of respite because it's only a glorified hurdle. Gives you a chance to get a breather. But if you haven't jumped the first 3 that well, you're chasing up to the water jumps. You're not getting the same breather. If you can get on the pace and attack jumping, you can dictate what you want to do.
So you can quite quickly be on the back foot in a race.
And because there's so many fences, when you miss one and get on the back foot, you don't get a furlong of a gallop to get back on an even.
That's what I'm saying. Is there anywhere that you can recover?
No, you can't. Away from the pond, away from the railways to the pond is the longest gallop in the second half of the race. But that's when the race is on and everyone is starting to increase the pace. So no, jumping is unbelievably important in Sandown.
In terms of position on the track, you see the position that Fitzy's in here, centre of track in comparison to the other runners. Is there a part of the track that you like to be on at Sandown?
Not particularly. Inside or out doesn't make a huge difference. obviously as the season goes on, the ground gets a bit more chewed up. You might keep out for fresher ground, but no, it's all about getting a look at where you're going and getting in a good rhythm jumping, because it's all about jumping.
Yeah.
That back straight and Sandown 7 fences.
But ultimately, you can travel well into a race, not stay, and a horse who might be off the bridle can come good at Sandown after jumping the last. I mean, if you look at the Bet365,
that often happens. They get racing away from the railways and in the longer distance races, and the dour stairs come from the next parish to catch up and win. Sandown can suck you into that too. If you are jumping too well and you start to roll too early, it can suck you into going too soon.
Yeah, Quarter Star's a freak, we know that, but jockeys on some horses who haven't been in a rhythm but are on definite stairs shouldn't lose faith in their horse, because they can pick up the pieces later on.
Yeah, the ones in front can get tired, if they've, especially in the longer distance races, if they've raced all the way down the back straight. It's still almost 5 furlongs from home. You mean you're passing, there's the 5 furlong flat start in the background, so it is 5 furlongs back to the winning post from there. You're crossing over to the pond fence. This is the most testing part of the track ground wise. It's always a bit softer here.
This fence coming out.
Ground can be, obviously because the pond is there, so must be where it naturally drains there, but the ground can be quite testing across to there. This fence is slightly on an angle. You see where Fitzy and AP end up on the outside, but actually don't have to manoeuvre back over too much to get to this running rail. It comes out to meet you, so middle to the outside is the straightest line to the home turn. Second ass comes up quickly off the bend. Doesn't look that sharp, but it does come at you very sharp.
It's a really interesting example of this, because given what he went on to achieve, we know just how good a horse he is, but quite clearly you could see with his jumping, with his sort of aggression at his fences, with his class, you can see why he excelled at Sandown, and you can see what made him a good horse, because he was able to put himself in positions in races through his sort of quality that other horses weren't able to do.
Yeah, he had unbelievable pace. I mean, he won 2 Tingle Creeks. He had great pace, and he was able to roll and attack. He showed that around Kempton as well in King George's. He obviously won 5 King George's. Maybe you could argue Cheltenham didn't quite play to his strengths. Said he still won 2 Gold Cups, but he liked to roll and attack, and that's what you need in Sandown.
And how early on board? I know it's a very open question, because it depends on the horse you're riding. But how quickly in a race would you go, oh, I'm not happy with how this is going in, say, a 2-mile chase there? Would you know after 2 fences?
Not after 2. I mean, if you're struggling after jumping 2 fences,
you're not on the right horse, probably.
Probably shouldn't be in the 2-mile chase. But down the back, if you're not well on the bridle heading to the railways in a 2-mile chase, you're in trouble, because you need to have a bit of pace to ping through them and get away from it. All right, in the 3.5-mile chases around there, you do need to keep a good bit in the tank to get home. And
just, we looked at the chase race there. Is there any difference in your approach? I mean, obviously there's a difference in your approach, but is the hurdles course different?
Yeah, there can be a big differential in opinion in the straight. Do you come out under the hedge, or do you stay over on the far side to the railing? That can be dependent where the hurdles are positioned. It definitely is quicker, drier, the closer you get to the hedge in the straight, which divides the hurdle and the chase track. So the closer you get to the hedge, the drier the ground gets. But some days the hurdles are way over on the far side and you can't come all the way over. There's a lot of racing there on soft ground. It does get quite chewed up. So it's definitely attracting a pace to walk.
Thanks for that, Ruby. Really interesting.
Cheers.